Okay, hey, what's up? I've been seeing a bunch of these videos kind of flying around YouTube, and I've watched a few of them, but they're about basically the astrological signs, the 12 signs, basically what the person who made the video thinks of each sign. And usually they're like pretty sugar-coated or just like they're nice. Like they're generally like nice videos that give you like a little bit of information about the sign and then they tell you like their personal feelings about that sign. And I love watching videos like that. I love astrology. I'm super into it. I mean, I've been really interested in astrology. I'm not really here to like argue with people about its validity because I do think that astrology to me helps me essentially just cope with my existence, and that's all I really need it to do for me, and that's what I think anyone maybe needs it to do for them, anyone that believes in it. So like being critical of something like that is essentially just being critical of me for choosing to believe anything that is, spiritual or religious. So I'm not really like interested in having that conversation. Either way, I've taught myself a lot about astrology, and I'm just really interested in it. So I thought it would be fun to do my interpretation of this video, but I would also like to be a little less sugarcoaty about it. I'd like to like actually just say how I feel about shit, but it's like totally my opinion, doesn't reflect anyone else's opinion, doesn't mean that you are this way if you are that sign, just my personal experiences in my 27 years of being on this earth and what I've sort of noticed the more that I've sort of learn about astrology and the more I interact with people and the way that astrology colors my interactions with people and my views with people. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Let's start with Aries. So we'll go in order. So Aries is the youngest sign of astrology, the baby, basically. Aries are ruled by the planet Mars, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Aries are very action-oriented. They're very impatient people. They're very quick. They're sort of like very much like kind of focused in like doing things quickly. Doesn't mean doing things like super well, just means doing things quickly, fast. They're just like kind of speedy people. They're also because they're the first sign of the zodiac, they're the youngest, and so every zodiac sign is sort of paired with related to an age group. So Aries are literally babies. So like Aries would be like the youngest, and then Pisces would be like associated with like the oldest, like old age. So Aries can be really childish. They're very childlike. They're not super good at handling their emotions, so they'll sort of like fly off the handle really quickly. They're unpredictable in that sort of way. So they're sort of just like little balls of energy and fire, and they're very they can be a little bit unpredictable if you don't know to expect that, I guess. I'm an Aries rising. I do think that it makes me a very impatient person. I think it makes me get a lot of stuff done. I feel like I'm always like doing things, but it doesn't mean that I'm doing them well all the time because of my impatience. I can't necessarily focus on one project for too long. I don't know if that's like a super Aries trait, but I like to think that being an Aries rising makes me that way. Yeah, and they're fire signs. So fire signs also sort of carry that. They're just like very energetic, childlike creatures. I personally love Aries. Basically, anyone that's not a straight Aries man, I'm okay with. Aries men, in my opinion, are all misogynist, and I've never been proven wrong on that And to be fair, I think most men are shitty in general, but Aries men, kind of a red flag when someone tells me they're an Aries and they're a straight dude. So, but those sorts of things are things that I keep in the back of my mind, and I don't necessarily, like, let it color my, like, I don't immediately hate, like, an Aries dude that I meet, but I'm gonna say from my lifetime, not a big fan of Aries men. Will not date one. Even though I think I'm supposed to be, like, somewhat compatible with them, but literally every Aries guy that I've met that I've found remotely attractive, I've just been, like, so repelled for their obvious, like, lack of respect for women. And I think it's because Aries is a very, very, very masculine sign. I think masculinity is, like, the downfall of the Aries. If that makes sense. Taurus. So Taurus is next. Taurans are known to be very, they're an earth sign. They are they're known to be very stubborn. They're very into physical comfort. They like to eat. They like to sleep. They like material objects. They like to be surrounded in comfort. They're also, a lot of the Tauruses I've met tend to be very self-righteous, but also a lot of Aquarians I meet are also very self-righteous. So, also I feel like Tauruses have very symmetrical faces. From what I've noticed, a lot of Taurus, I kind of can tell who is a Taurus based off of the way that they look. I find that most Tauruses have very, like, luscious hair. Yeah, so Tauruses, definitely very, like, indulgent. They're very just about comfort, from what I can tell. Gemini. Gemini is an air sign. They are ruled by Mercury, and so Mercury is the planet that rules communication. Mercury also rules Virgo. Basically, Geminis are basically the most misunderstood sign, in my opinion. I personally love Geminis. I think they're really captivating people. They're great at conversations. They have a shape-shifting ability because they're able to sort of mold themselves into any social situation that they are put into. So they're really, really, really social creatures. And they can kind of get along with anyone if they need to. So a lot of people read that as deceptive, but to me, I see it as something that's actually, like, a very good quality. They're people that want to have, like, long conversations with you. They want to talk a lot. They have a lot to say. They're very chatty people. They're, because they're so moldable, they're also, I think, a big part of Geminis too is that they're very indecisive. They can't really, like, figure out what they want to be doing all the time. I feel like they can, like, flip really quickly. They're very unpredictable in that way. But overall, they're lovely people who aren't trying to outwardly deceive anyone. I think they're just perceived that way because they're so mutable. Okay, so the next sign is Cancer. Cancers are a water sign. They are like the little crab symbol. And I would say that Cancers, from my experience, are very dejected. They're very sad. I wouldn't say that all Cancers are this way. There's actually, like, kind of a pattern that I've experienced with most of the Cancers that I meet, but a lot of Cancers that I meet are very funny as well. Like, I meet a lot of Cancers who are, like, super hilarious, like, always on point, like, super funny. Some of the funniest people I know are Cancers. But then on the other hand, a lot of Cancers I meet are super, like, just, like, dejected. Like, when they feel sad, they need to have everyone, like, feel that sad energy. They'll, like, walk into a room and it's just like the dramatics just, like, start. And it doesn't even have to be, like, super, like, loud. It's just like them just like needing like if they're sad, it's like they have to play like their sad music the loudest and like just like have everyone just like know that they're so sad. And Cancers are very moody. They're very sad. They're ruled by water. So I feel like water signs are a lot about like feelings and empathy and just soaking it all in. And so Cancers are definitely very self-indulgent on the sad front, I would say. I would also say that a lot of Cancers I meet have, especially Cancers, I would say that a lot of the Cancers I meet are very interested in like family and settling down and are definitely people that I see getting into a lot of long-term relationships. Cancers are also known to marry very young. And so I find that a lot of them are always kind of trying to like find their spouse. They're always sort of like dating or like their end game is like family. And like I like can't, yeah, I don't know. So that's Cancers in a nutshell for me. The next sign is Leo. Leo is another fire sign like Aries. It is the lion. Leos are known to need a lot of attention. They have kind of like booming presences. They're usually very like, I would say they're charming. I would say that they're just loud. They're just like in your face. They're they're very like proud people. I actually probably would say that I have the least amount of experience with Leos in my life. Leos are the opposite of Aquarius on the wheel, the zodiac chart wheel. And I don't have anything personally against Leos. I just don't actually know that many. So I can't say too much about Leos other than what I know at this point in my life. Oh, and Leo is ruled by the sun. So just like, after that is Virgo. I love Virgos. I love Virgos so much. Virgos are seen as very neat and tidy and precise and organized and hardworking people. I wouldn't say that every Virgo you meet, though, is going to be like a super tidy person. I know Virgos that are like messy as hell, but like Virgos are very analytical. They're also ruled by Mercury like Gemini, so they're very into communicating and they're very perceptive and they look at the world around them, and because of that, they're incredibly critical as well. They're super intelligent and they can be very, very, very critical of themselves, of other people. So a lot of the time they'll be pointing out things that maybe you wouldn't have noticed, but they're sort of like have this like sharp eye on things. And sometimes that can be really negative. A lot of the Virgos I know are very body conscious. They're very sort of like concerned with how they look, and not necessarily like I want to like dress up or like put on a lot of makeup, but they're very critical of their bodies. I feel like they're not 100% comfortable in their flesh prisons. I don't think many of us are, but and because of that, I think that can be negative, and it's mostly negative for them, but it obviously can manifest itself in other ways. But otherwise, I think Virgos are super amazing, intelligent, like thoughtful, interesting people, like that have a lot to give as a friend as well, and they're just brilliant people in my opinion. Libras are another air sign. So Libras are very just like beautiful. They're just like also like people that I feel like I can kind of tell Libra, like I can see Tauruses because they're very like symmetrical and like just like good looking, and I feel like Libras are also very, very beautiful, but in a different way. But there's a very like airy, beautiful quality to a Libra. They are they're the scales, so that's their symbol, is the scales, and they're super interested in balance. So they're always trying to search for balance, and that is impossible, so Libras are suffering all the time, essentially. Because of that, yeah, they're trying to reach this level of perfection that no one is able to reach. Libras are also very social creatures, and they are very, very, very concerned with what other people think of them. They're sort of the first ones to be fake nice to you. Not because they're fake people, but because they want everyone to like them, even people that they themselves don't like. I found that a lot with Libras, is that they're very social, but in a way where they need everyone to be interested in them to a certain degree. And they just don't want to have enemies, essentially. So that can be a little bit much. I'm a Libra Moon, and I find that being a Libra Moon is a lot about needing a companion to do a lot of things, or a companionship in general. Libras, in my opinion, trying to find that balance that they're trying to find, a lot of the time seek companionship to help them with that. And I think that can lead to a lot of like codependency issues, and I definitely think that my Libra Moon gives me some codependency issues, and I kind of hate having a Libra Moon. I like Libras. I like a lot of the traits that Libras have, but having a Libra Moon, I think, essentially makes me really need, like, everyone to like me. I feel like it makes me kind of need, like, a partner, whether it's a best friend or a dating partner, so it's just kind of a mess sometimes. Okay, Scorpios. Another very, like Gemini, another very debated sign. I have a lot of Scorpio friends, mostly women friends, that are Scorpio, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I have a really hard time with Scorpios. They're ruled by water. Scorpios are normally read as, like, mysterious and dark and, like, blah, blah, blah. To me, Scorpios are very sexual, a very sexual sign. They're very, to the point where I think that they use sex as a manipulation tactic. I find that Scorpios are super obsessive. They are prone to kind of, like, fixating on things and becoming really obsessed with it. In romance, they are very, like, they just, like, shower with, like, obsessive attention where it becomes, like, very stressful. Scorpios are, because they're a water sign, they're also quite moody, but I find that they're and they're perceptive in a lot of ways, so the Scorpios are sort of known to be, like, secretly taking it all in and, like, kind of watching everything and taking mental notes, which is scary because you feel like they're sort of always plotting and you don't really know where you stand with them. I think that for me, the biggest problems I have with Scorpios would be in the romantic department, and so I just don't really, like, let myself go there. I'm not really compatible with Scorpios in that way, so I don't need that, but I do think that Scorpios definitely have a sort of, like, plotting energy to them that can be really, really scary and bad. And hopefully they can, like, be aware of it and maybe learn to check that or, like, channel that. Alright. Sagittarius. Sagittarians are a fire sign. They are they're kind of known to be, not tied down to anything. They're, like, free spirits, and they, like, float around, and they just, like, zoom through life, like, doing whatever they feel like doing, and sometimes that means, leaving people that they claim to love behind. Sagittarians are very, kind of just very independent, really go for it, just kind of get what they want. sign. They're just sort of focused on like getting what they want. I would say that a lot of pop stars are Sagittariuses. I think Sagittarians, if they put their mind to something, are very successful because they are very, very driven. But that being said, I don't have a lot of close personal relationships with Sagittarians. Well, actually, maybe I do, but I couldn't say that I've noticed any like crazy patterns with Sagittarians yet. They've always sort of, I think I get along with fire signs for the most part, so they've always just sort of seemed chill to me. Like, I respect their hustle, essentially. Capricorn is next. Capricorn is an earth sign, and I love Capricorns. Every Capricorn I know knows how to build and, like, fix things, and they're really good at, like, doing things with their hands. Capricorns are sexy. Like, they know how to do shit, and they're very, like, they're just, like, their brains are just, like, mathematical and, like, analytical, and they can, like, kind of just get anything done. They're just very intelligent creatures. I think that Capricorns can come off as very stiff and stern and kind of just, like standoffish, but but they're not doing it on purpose. They're not, like, trying to be assholes, essentially. But I think that a lot of people see that standoffishness as jerk behavior, but I think Capricorns are just very, like, kind of, like, just, like, awkward, a little awkward. But I love Capricorns. My Venus is in Capricorn. Capricorns are very, are said to be very career-driven, although I wouldn't say that a Capricorn is driven in the same way that, like, a Sagittarius is driven to meet their goals. I think Capricorns are just sort of, like, very hands-on and, like, know how to get shit done. Like, they know how to, like, they just know. Like, if there's a problem at hand, like, they know how to deal with it. Alright, next sign, Aquarius. I am an Aquarius. January 28th is my birthday. I love being an Aquarius. I very much feel that I am an Aquarius. So, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I could go forever about talking about Aquarius. Aquarians are an air sign. They're a fixed air sign. They are the water bearer. So you got that. They're ruled by Uranus, which is the planet that rules change. So Aquarians are very much about the big picture and the world and change and like radical thinking, and a big word that comes in with Aquarius is like weird or quirky. Fine, you can say that. That's cool. Fine. Aquarians are, because they're an air sign, they're also very communicative. They like to talk about stuff. I wouldn't say that Aquarians are as social as, say, like a Gemini air sign, but they're definitely very interested in, they kind of get, like, stimulation from conversing or talking. Aquarians, kind of self-righteous, can be kind of self-righteous. I think they can also, when it comes to romance, they can be a little shut off romantically. I think that a lot of people see Aquarians as being a little bit cold when it comes to those sort of matters, or lacking in empathy, but I think it's more of just like a fear of being tied down, because they're also just very independent in that way, and definitely very forward thinking. But I feel like an asshole talking about me in relation to that sign, because I don't want it to sound like I'm like, okay, and the final sign is Pisces. Pisces is a water sign. It is ruled by Neptune? Yeah. It's ruled by Neptune. I'm sorry I didn't tell you all of the deets on everything, but you can Google all of that, and you can look up your birth chart. You can figure it all out. Anyway, Pisces are the oldest sign in the zodiac. Like I said about Aries is the youngest, and so if you kind of like go through, you can figure out like kind of what age group everyone is. Pisces are old age. They're associated with old age. So when in old age, you've hit your peak of wisdom. Like, you've lived your life, and you've seen all this shit go down, and you are wise as fuck. And that is a Pisces. Pisces are just, like, wise souls. They're very, like, intuitive. They're very, like, they're almost psychic in a lot of ways. A lot of people associate them with being in their own heads because, honestly, they don't need to be down to earth. They've been there. They've already gotten through that. They're on another plane of existence. Pisces are very creative. They're very emotional. They're just, like, beautiful flowers. They're just beautiful. They just feel so much. But they're so wise. So it's sick. Okay. So, trying to wrap this up. I hope that I didn't insult your sign too badly, or say anything that you think is totally off base. And if you do think it's totally off base, you can let me know. But I just want to do this video because I thought it would be really fun. And if you basically you can be a sun. Your sun sign is like whenever you were born, and then you have all these other signs in your chart that inform your full personality. So we're not these, like, one-dimensional things where, like, if I'm a Taurus, I'm only a Taurus. No, I have a whole chart with all these other elements popping off in it. So, you know, my Libra Moon affects me, my Venus in Capricorn affects me, my Mars in Taurus affects me. Like, all of those things together make me the person that I am in terms of astrology. So if you want to know your birth chart, you just need to know what time you were born to know your rising. If you don't know that, it's fine. You just won't know your rising sign. And then you just need to know where you were born, the date. I don't remember what else. I think that's it. Time, place, where you're born. Google it. Cafe Astrology does a great one. And then it'll go through everything. And you'll be like, whoa, or you'll be like, this is bullshit, and then I won't know what to tell you. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon.